The morning sun had barely risen over the quiet street when the bell above the diner door chimed softly. The smell of fresh coffee and toasted bread filled the air, but something felt off. At the corner table sat a young waitress trying to balance a heavy tray with one hand. The other hand was wrapped in a worn, fraying bandage, slightly stained as if it had been used far too long. She tried to hide the pain behind a polite smile, but every movement revealed how much it hurt. What no one in that diner realized was that the quiet man watching her from the back booth wasn't just another customer. He was the secret owner of the diner, and what he was about to discover would change everything. Before we continue this emotional story, take a quick moment to support the channel. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that restore faith in humanity, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who loves heartfelt stories, and subscribe to the channel Whisper Tales 3 for more powerful stories like this. The man in the booth was named Adrian Cole. To the staff he was just another quiet customer wearing a plain jacket and baseball cap, someone who had been coming in every morning for coffee during the past week. But Adrian wasn't there for breakfast. He was there to observe. After inheriting the small chain of diners from his late uncle, Adrian decided to visit each location undercover. He wanted to understand how his businesses truly ran when no one knew the owner was watching. This diner, tucked along a busy daytime street corner, seemed lively enough. Sunlight poured through the windows, illuminating the worn wooden tables and the gentle chatter of regular customers. Plates clinked, coffee machines hissed, and the staff moved quickly between tables. But Adrian's attention kept returning to the same person, the young waitress with the injured hand. Her name tag read Marisol Vega. She couldn't have been older than 22. Her dark hair was tied back hastily, and faint shadows rested under her eyes like she hadn't slept well in days. Yet she kept moving, carrying plates, refilling cups, and greeting customers with warmth that felt genuine. Every time she lifted something with her injured hand, her face tightened for just a second before she forced the smile back. Adrian noticed something else too. The diner manager, a tall man named Curtis, watched her closely. But his attention wasn't filled with concern, it was irritation. Twice Adrian saw Curtis snap his fingers impatiently at Marisol when she moved slower than usual. Once, when she accidentally dropped a spoon, Curtis leaned close and scolded her sharply. Marisol lowered her head and apologized quickly before rushing back to work. Adrian stirred his coffee slowly, pretending not to notice. But inside, something felt wrong. A broken hand wasn't a small injury. Yet Marisol was working as if she had no choice. Around mid-morning, the diner became quieter. Office workers had already returned to their jobs, and only a few customers remained. Marisol carefully wiped down Adrian's table, still trying to use both hands despite the obvious pain. As she reached for the empty cup, the sleeve of her uniform shifted slightly, revealing deep purple bruises along her wrist. Adrian's chest tightened. Those bruises didn't look like something caused by a simple fall. The moment passed quickly, and Marisol moved away to refill another customer's drink. But Adrian's thoughts began racing. He had seen enough businesses to know when something was wrong behind the scenes. A few minutes later, he noticed Curtis walking toward Marisol again. The manager's voice was low but sharp, and though Adrian couldn't hear every word, the tone was unmistakable. Marisol's shoulders sank as she nodded repeatedly, apologizing for something she clearly hadn't meant to do. When Curtis walked away, Adrian saw Marisol pause near the counter. For just a moment, her smile disappeared. She pressed her injured hand against her apron and closed her eyes like she was fighting tears. That was the moment Adrian decided he couldn't stay silent anymore. He approached the counter calmly, placing cash for his coffee. When Marisol looked up, she quickly forced that same polite smile again. Adrian spoke gently, asking if her hand was okay. Marisol immediately brushed off the question, claiming it was just a small accident. But her eyes shifted nervously toward the manager's office. The response felt rehearsed, like she had answered the same question many times before. Adrian didn't push further. Instead, he quietly thanked her for the service and stepped outside, but he didn't leave. Standing across the street, Adrian made a phone call. Within an hour, he returned, not as the quiet customer, but as the diner's owner. when Curtis saw him walk through the door with company representatives behind him, the manager's confident posture instantly collapsed. The staff gathered near the counter, whispering in confusion. Adrian's eyes moved calmly across the room until they stopped on Marisol, who looked completely stunned. The next hour revealed a story Adrian never expected. Marisol had injured her hand weeks earlier while working a late shift. A heavy supply crate had fallen because of faulty shelving in the storage room. Instead of reporting the accident properly, Curtis had forced her to keep working, threatening to cut her hours if she complained. Marisol needed the job desperately. She was supporting her younger brother while finishing community college during the day. The bruises Adrian had seen came from lifting heavy trays and supplies with an untreated fracture. Curtis had hidden the incident to avoid inspection penalties. When Adrian heard the full story, the diner felt painfully silent, but the silence didn't last long. Curtis was immediately dismissed from his position. Adrian arranged for the storage area to be inspected and repaired that same afternoon. More importantly, he ensured Marisol received proper medical care and full paid leave to recover. Yet what surprised Marisol most wasn't the help. It was Adrian's next decision. A few weeks later, when Marisol returned with her hand fully healed, Adrian offered her a new role, not as a waitress, but as an assistant manager trainee. He had seen something rare in her during that painful week. Despite the injury, the exhaustion, and the pressure, she had treated every customer with kindness. That kind of character couldn't be taught. Months passed, and the diner slowly transformed. The atmosphere became warmer, the staff more supportive, and customers noticed the difference. At the center of it all was Marisol, now confident, smiling brighter than before, helping new employees the same way someone once helped her. And Adrian often visited again, this time openly as the owner. But every time he walked in, he remembered the quiet morning when he first saw a waitress with a broken hand trying to hide her pain. Sometimes the smallest signs reveal the biggest truths. If this story touched your heart or reminded you that kindness can truly change lives, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to Whisper Tales 3 for more meaningful stories. And before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Comment below with the word kindness if you believe that even one act of compassion can transform someone's future.